we got another package in the mail. Elgato, I could say, is one of the best brands for any video game capturing and as well as some streaming gear. I'm just saying that as it is. I remember my first ever capture card from Elgato. I think I might still have it. Very first capture card from Elgato was the HD60S. This was my bread and butter. This was always my go-to. Back when I had the laptop at the time to record my gameplay, this was the best thing I could do to record all of my footage. And even so, I was still a very not so wise creator of how to utilize and get the best out of the quality gameplay. But whenever it came to capturing the footage, this was so good. And what I use right now to capture my gameplay is the HD60 Pro, which is really good for just seamless capture and gets its own encoder, so that way it can save the footage as a good copy for less file size. These are great capture cards from Elgato, and they are, as of this moment of time, discontinued. Now there are more creators and live streamers popping up more and more nowadays. A lot of the gamers nowadays are trying to find their way to best record their footage, not just for PC console gameplay, but for next generation consoles like the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. Luckily, Elgato's got us covered and got us a brand new capture card to use. This is the Elgato HD60X. This thing is optimized for next generation consoles. It can pass through up to 4K 60, up to 1440p 120, and 1080p at 240 frames. But it can also capture footage from 4K 30 HDR, 1440p 60 SDR, and 1080p 60 HDR, as well as 1080p 120 SDR. Cool. We're getting some upgrades. All right, let's just go ahead and just open this bad boy and see. So satisfying. So out of the box, the HD60X comes with the actual capture card, which I wasn't too sure about the design at first, but I kind of like how they put the HDMI in and out points and the USBs in the back of it instead of like side to side. I wasn't sure about it at first, but I think it's now starting to grow on me. Now I'm seeing this in person. But really good design, like change in design choice, Elgato. Very good stuff. Comes with a USB-C cable and an HDMI cable for capturing the footage. Now that the HD60X is opened up, I'm gonna have to download their 4K capture utility and see how it is. So I'm gonna play around with some of the settings, do some research, play with this thing a little bit, see how I'm going to do all this, and see what we do from there. But I will report back and see my results, and I'll give you guys my honest opinions about the HD60X. So I'll be back. All right, so it has been a whopping day later since I've been playing with the Elgato HD60X, and something I forgot to mention earlier is that this new capture card has a very unique feature that supports variable refresh rate for the next generation consoles and for even games for PC. So what variable refresh rate means is that there won't be any screen tearing when it comes to capturing and recording your gameplay, but it can only support FreeSync from AMD and not G-Sync. So I took a whole day, played around with this a little bit, and how is it? How does it perform? How does it do? How did this software features support for this, and what was my experience like? So Elgato has recommended that you use the 4K capture utility to record your gameplay and use the stream link feature on the 4K capture utility, so you can record gameplay and simultaneously stream through OBS or Streamlabs or XSplit even, so that you can record raw gameplay footage on top of your live stream. With this 4K capture utility, it does not work. At least for me, it's kind of been a weird experience for me because I got these brand new monitors, these new 1440p monitors. When I hook them to the PlayStation and Xbox, for whatever reason, they're taking and reading it as a 4K video output when it's a 1440p monitor, which I don't understand how or why that is. It's kind of weird at first because when I tried to record, it just would not work. So I tried changing the resolution outputs, played around with the HDR settings and the VRR settings, see if VRR was the issue. And there are moments where I tried to record the output to 1440p 60 and it just records at 1080p 60 for whatever weird reason. But I think Elgato is coming up with a fix for that really soon, for the last time I heard. I haven't thought about contacting Elgato just yet about this issue, but I'm pretty sure they are very much aware of it. So when the 4K capture utility does work, it's when I turn off the HDR. So when I have the HDR turned off for both the consoles and the HDR recording for 4K capture utility, it would work just fine. So maybe the HDR is having some issues for recording with these monitors for some reason. I still haven't figured out a way around it to see if it's possible to record HDR, but maybe I'll see what I can fix in the future and I can get back with you guys about that and see how that is. So the efficient way that works for me for recording gameplay is having a second instance of OBS open and recording my gameplay through there. And I've done a bunch of tests of those already, up to 1440p. So I tested some recordings through OBS through 1440p, and I've had this massive audio delay in my recordings. And for the longest time, I had no idea how to fix it. But I found a technique that could fix audio delay if you're recording through OBS, or even if you're live streaming through OBS. So I have this instance here to show you and just to give a demonstration. So I'll show you guys how I fixed it for future reference if you encounter this problem yourself. So what you'll do is you're going to add a new source, add video capture. I'll just name this HD60X, and then bada bing, bada boom, we have the HD60X through the output, have the PS5 turned on. What you'll see here is the HD60X has been added as a source, and you have the audio playing here. But here's the trick that could fix the audio delay if you have this problem. So what you're gonna do is, you see this audio mixer right here? For the HD60X, you have to turn this all the way down, or you can mute this, whether it's up to you. And then what you're going to do, hide this, and then add a new source for your audio. Oh, no. We're going to add a new source. We're going to add an audio input capture. And then we're going to find the device. and it should be HDMI Game Capture HD60X, and that is what you're going to use. And I believe this also works with the HD60S Plus as well. If that still doesn't work, then you would go to, I believe, the HD60X, and you would add a filter, audio and video filters. You're going to do video delay async, and then you'll delay the video to however long the audio would be delayed. So if it's like 2 seconds of delay, then that's how long you would do that. So with that said, is the HD60X worth the $200? Is it worth the upgrade? And is it worth getting if you are a content creator? Well, it depends. I think the HD60X to me is just a better HD60S Plus that has variable refresh rate support. I think who this could be used for is for people that don't own a like a whole PC to capture their gameplay from. So if you probably have a laptop and have the new generation consoles and have a really high video output like 4K or something, then this is something I would recommend. And even so, I would honestly recommend the HD60S Plus because it's like $30 cheaper, I believe, like $30 or $20 cheaper than this. It can pass through 4K 60, but it can record 1080p 60 in HDR, which 1080 60 is the highest bitrate for Twitch anyway. So if you're planning to live stream, then I think the HD60S Plus is a good route for you too. But if you really want the best of the best, and if you have some sort of PC rig to your setup, then what I would recommend is the 4K 60 Pro. That you could just hook it into your PCIe slot, and that would work very seamlessly. But the only thing with the 4K 60 Pro is that you can't like pack it with you and travel with you on the go, which I think is also another benefit to having this kind of capture card, because you can pack it with you and you can take it anywhere you want, or you could take it with you to a capture event and you can record your gameplay with this. So all in all, the HD60X I think is a pretty decent capture card that Elgato has put out. I think the HD60X could be better if their 4K capture utility worked as more efficiently as it should. I think if they had some more UI and functionality changes to the 4K capture utility, this would be much more effective. I think having that variable refresh rate feature alone for this capture card is what makes this thing truly for next generation consoles, and I think that's very worth it. I can't wait to see what kind of new innovations for capture devices you come out next. Pretty good job, Elgato. Maybe we'll see a G-Sync compatible VRR recording in the future. But yeah, this has been it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure you blow up that like button. 2 million like pieces. Subscribe today to join the Bunker Crew today. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay blessed, and you have a good one.